you, is it, sir?
Yes.
Look at it, please, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Gale, and that's you shooting him, right?
Yes.
You admit that you shot him in cold blood?
Yes.
Imagine staring into the face of someone who's just been told they'll never walk free again. Some break down in tears, others faint, and a few, shockingly, smile. But one thing unites them, the moment of reckoning. There is a chilling stillness in those courtrooms, a heavy air that presses down as the realization settles into their bones. It's the end of the road, the final chapter. Today we witness what happens when the most dangerous criminals break down. From public breakdowns to haunting silence, these are the 10 craziest killers reacting to life sentences when evil finally cracks in court. A courtroom isn't just a place of justice. It's a stage for reckoning. It is where tears fall like rain and silence screams louder than words, where justice meets tragedy and echoes into eternity. For the victims' families, it's closure. For the killers, it's the moment where time freezes. No gang, no gun, no escape plan, just a judge, a sentence, and the reality that they will die behind bars. Some cry, some scream, others faint. But each reaction tells a deeper story about guilt, fear, and sometimes the terrifying lack of remorse. The gavel doesn't just end a trial, it ends a chapter of unchecked violence. It marks the exact second where evil stops breathing freely, where consequences carve themselves into the lives of those who thought they could outrun them. It's a signal that no matter how dark the path, justice is the light that cuts through. Let's begin. JALEEL Smith Riley. This is JALEEL Smith Riley, inside a courtroom in Cincinnati, Ohio. Police say he confessed to a robbery gone wrong. 20-year-old Portia Brooks and her boyfriend Aaron Martin were sitting in their car when Smith Riley and two others approached them. It was supposed to be quick, a robbery for cash, but desperation and poor decisions collided that night. When Smith Riley learned Martin had no cash, he shot him in the head. Martin survived but was left with permanent brain damage. Then he fired at Brooks, sealing her fate. She died 3 agonizing days later in the hospital, surrounded by family members clinging to fading hope. In court, Riley appeared broken. The remorse was visible, his body trembling, eyes red, lips trembling.
I'm sorry. Go back on with me. I'm so sorry. I just want to come home with it.
This is somebody that feels genuine remorse. This is somebody that thinks about this every day, and he knows that he can't go back in time and undo what he did.
But the true weight of the moment came when Portia's mother stood to speak. Her voice didn't waver. It rang out, a searing arrow aimed straight at the heart of the court.
But he killed me mentally, emotionally. He killed my identity as a mother of 3, as a family of 4.
But it was her sister's words that sealed Riley's fate.
I have to deal with life without Portia, so he should deal with life without parole.
And then it came. The sentence. Life in prison, no chance of release. Riley dropped his gaze.
Or defendant serve a term of life without parole. As to count 4 for the offense of attempted murder.
His knees weakened. In that moment, there was no more bravado, no false toughness, only consequence, heavy and final. Diana Lovejoy. Diana Lovejoy once had it all. A house in Carlsbad, California, a child, a marriage. But after a bitter divorce, she was ordered to pay her ex-husband Greg Mulvihill $120,000 and share custody of their son. What seemed like a perfect suburban life had corroded from the inside, consumed by bitterness and revenge. Furious, she conspired with her new boyfriend, Weldon McDavid, to kill him. Greg was lured to a remote location and shot. But the bullet missed his heart. He survived.
Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant, Diana Jean Lovejoy, guilty of the crime of attempted murder of Greg Mulvihill.
It was Lovejoy's reaction that stunned everyone. As the guilty verdict was read, she collapsed.
Guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
Her head dipped forward. Her face went ghostly pale, and her body went limp. Silence gripped the room. Her family's cries filled the void.
Alright, we're gonna need to take a break.
Medics rushed in. She was stretchered out, appearing lifeless. Later, doctors confirmed. She had fainted, overwhelmed by the crushing realization that her life was over. McDavid received 50 years to life. Lovejoy, 26 years to life.
It's so painful that some people in this world seem to think that I would have it in me to do this.
Her breakdown, a final escape attempt, but from consequences, not custody. The walls of justice had finally closed in. Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari. This is the sentencing of Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari, a farming couple from Michigan charged with the murder of their 10-month-old daughter, Mary. Mary's short life was a silent cry for help, one that went unanswered by those who should have protected her. Mary was severely underweight. They saw it, but did nothing.
I could tell from looking at Mary, I could tell because her skin was gray, her cheeks looked sunken like they weren't when we put her to bed. I knew she was dead.
Their excuse? Religious beliefs, a distrust in medicine.
It's dangerous to take your kid to the doctor's office these days.
Mary wasted away slowly, a death no child should endure. The autopsy confirmed what police suspected: malnutrition and dehydration, starvation, plain and simple, death by neglect.
How would you feel? You are imprisoned in yourself because you don't have the energy to move. She didn't have the energy to even put up her arms, and she didn't have the energy to cry.
In court, the couple showed little emotion, stone-faced, unmoved by the tiny casket they had filled. But when the judge read the sentence, life without parole for both, Fusari's shoulders collapsed inward. Welch blinked harder, faster, like a man realizing too late that ideology would not save him.
That you're both charged with what they call felony murder while in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree. They're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment or any term of years less than life.
Because in the end, even the deepest faith cannot justify a child's slow death. Ryan Stone. Ryan Stone turned Colorado into his playground for chaos. He carjacked 3 vehicles, one with a child inside. The entire crime spree was broadcast live by helicopter. Viewers across the country watched as Stone fled at reckless speeds, smashing through barriers and endangering lives. Every turn he took, every red light he blew through was a gamble with innocent lives. He hit speeds over 100 miles. A state trooper deploying stop sticks was hit and seriously injured.
Those angels up there actually pulled me out of the way. I proudly wear this badge, and I want to continue to be able to do so, to be able to return to full active duty in the next couple of months.
Stone was finally caught after slipping on ice and attempting to climb a fence. When captured, cold, shivering, coatless, he smiled for cameras. In jail, he joked about becoming famous.
Hey, did you know I made the news in the UK and Australia? What? Yeah, we get paid by YouTube. So Channel 7 News, I believe, is going to be the one that gets paid for that. I'm going to contact Channel 7 News. I want to get paid. You guys are getting paid using my name and my video footage.
But the courtroom was a different stage. His defense, blaming stress and drug withdrawal, fell flat. 18 felony convictions, 160 years. As the judge read the sentence, Stone's grin evaporated. His eyes darted, searching for a loophole that didn't exist. Reality had finally caught up. And this time, no helicopter cameras could save him. Esteban Carpio. Esteban Carpio's crime shocked Rhode Island to its core. Under interrogation for stabbing an 85-year-old woman, he seized an officer's gun and shot Detective James Allen twice, killing him instantly. Then he leapt from a third-story window, fracturing his face and body.
Every day, I face the facts of what I did and what happened.
A split second of violence turned into a lifetime of ruin. At his arraignment, Carpio's appearance, swollen, bruised, restrained by a bite mask, was so shocking that his family erupted, accusing the police of brutality. But an FBI investigation found the injuries came from the fall and struggle, not police misconduct. Carpio was sentenced to life without parole. His mask couldn't hide the damage. Carpio said nothing. He didn't need to. His silence was more unnerving than any outburst. And his family's cries? A chilling soundtrack to justice.
It's gross police brutality. He was mentally ill, and he needed help, and we couldn't get it. We tried and tried, and he didn't deserve this.
MIKEL Brady. MIKEL Brady was already serving 24 years for shooting at a state trooper. But inside Pasquotank Correctional in North Carolina, he led a deadly prison break. It wasn't a spontaneous act. It was planned, deliberate, and drenched in blood. With 3 other inmates, Brady attacked staff with hammers and scissors. 4 workers died.
That man, MIKEL Brady, beat that man, George Midget, like he was trying to bust concrete.
He tried to flee over a fence and almost made it out. Almost. But was caught at gunpoint. In court, He confessed everything. No apology, no plea for mercy.
I stabbed him like 4 to 8 times. She was supposed to go down in one hit. I hit Jeffrey Howe until he stopped moving.
The jury's recommendation was swift and unforgiving: death. Brady showed no emotion as his fate was sealed. No trembling lip, no watery eyes, just the blank stare of a man who had chosen violence over redemption. And now, Brady waits, alone, on death row in Colorado.
I'm up here to tell the truth. You can ask me anything you want, I'm gonna tell the truth. Whether it hurts me, whether it helps me, I don't care about that.
Each day, a grim reminder that escape, true escape, was never really possible. Austin Myers. Austin Myers was barely out of high school when he chose murder over friendship. Along with Timothy Mosley, he targeted 18-year-old Justin Back for robbery. Myers and Mosley wanted to rob his father's safe. Instead, the crime turned bloody, with Justin stabbed 21 times in a brutal attack that shocked Ohio.
The idea of strangling them, that way it would create no mess, pretty much be an easier job to handle. Obviously, Justin was trying to put up a fight, and he wasn't overpowering us.
Mosley turned state's witness for a lighter sentence. Myers went to trial. He begged for mercy. He hoped the jury would see youth, not cruelty.
I'm sorry that this happened. I know that doesn't bring Justin back, but I'm sorry.
But Justin's father's words rang louder. The jury saw no child, only a killer. The verdict? Death.
There will always be a definite hole in our lives without Justin.
And when the judge read the verdict, he just closed his eyes, as if trying to erase what he could never undo. Myers' reaction was chilling, stillness, as if the gravity of what he had done finally anchored him to the floor. Friendship twisted into betrayal, innocence traded for greed. At 19, Myers became the youngest person on Ohio's death row. NIKKO Jenkins. 4 murders, 10 days, 1 man, NIKKO Jenkins. He turned freedom into a bloodbath, a horrifying display of unchecked rage. Released after 10 years in prison, Jenkins committed robbery, carjacking, and multiple homicides, all within a month. His crimes were as senseless as they were savage. Random victims, random locations, no pattern, just chaos unleashed upon the streets of Omaha. In court, he waived his right to a jury trial. Jenkins showed no remorse, no plea for leniency, no tears. He stood there, hollow, as the judges found him guilty and handed down death sentences.
The defendant's commission of these 4 murders over a 10-day period is one of the worst killing sprees in the history of this state.
Psychiatrists testified about his violent behavior, his bizarre ramblings, his declarations of being commanded by ancient gods, but the court saw through it. Evil doesn't always need an excuse. He now sits on death row in Nebraska, waiting, watching, unrepentant. A man who took so many futures now faces a future defined by isolation, concrete, and the slow march toward his own inevitable end. Justice moves slowly, but it moves. Martez Abram. Fired from Walmart for bringing in a knife, Martez Abram came back with guns. It wasn't justice he wanted, it was revenge. And the innocent paid the price.
You admit that you shot him in cold blood?
Yes.
You shot him again, didn't you?
Yes.
He killed 2 managers, shot a police officer. Shoppers scattered in terror, employees hid wherever they could find cover, but the violence was swift and deliberate. At sentencing, a widow's voice cut through the tension. The room froze under the weight of her grief. Abram stood still, silent, a monument of anger and defeat. No apology, no emotion. When the judge sentenced him to death, Abram blinked, then lowered his head. Another soul trapped by the very violence he unleashed. No regret, only emptiness. No battle left to fight, no justification left to offer. Only a future as bleak and final as the lives he stole. Markeith Lloyd. Markeith Lloyd's crimes unfolded like a horror story. First, he killed his pregnant ex-girlfriend. Then, while on the run, he gunned down Officer Deborah Clayton in a Walmart parking lot. The ensuing manhunt stretched for 9 tense days. The city held its breath as schools locked down, businesses shuttered early, and fear soaked into everyday life.
From the very beginning, they've been reporting lies. I tried to turn myself in 3 different times after the situation.
When police finally captured him, he lost an eye during the violent arrest. His mugshot became an emblem of a man who chose war over surrender. In court, he blamed fear, claimed he had no choice, but no defense could undo the devastation he had caused. Deborah Clayton's sister delivered a devastating blow. In her victim impact statement, there were no heroes in Lloyd's story, only victims. As he was removed from court, he mouthed something no one could hear. Perhaps defiance, perhaps regret. But the verdict? That was loud and clear. His legacy was sealed, not in defiance, but in defeat. A final, silent admission that no excuse could save him from what he had done. For every act of violence, there comes a moment when justice catches up. For these 10 killers, the courtroom was where their power ended and their consequences began. Some wept, some fainted, some stared into nothingness. But all of them, in their own way, came face to face with the end of the road. Because when the gavel drops and the sentence is read, even the craziest killers can't escape fate. If you found this video chilling, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real-world stories that hit harder than fiction. And let us know in the comments, which reaction shocked you the most?